So, after our relatively short and only slightly productive session, we're now fully armed with one rabbit. Yeah, one rabbit. Essential supplies. A sharp knife, hunting knife, boning knife, which is what this one is. My hunting knife needs dressing. It's not as sharp as I'd like it to be. My boning knife's in quite good condition, so we'll go with that. And just because we're doing this indoors, disposable composting sack. Ordinarily, you can do this in the field. Leave the guts at the side of the field, and the foxes, badgers, etc. will clear it up for you. You could, I guess, put it in a composting bag in food waste if that's what operates in your area, but it's perfectly okay to just leave it in the woods. It'll get taken away. So I'll now show you how to clean the way I do it. I'm guessing there's no real correct way. Everybody does it a different way. There's a few basic principles. You're trying to get out at this stage the stuff that will decay, cause the animal to bloat and taint the meat. If you don't do it fairly quickly, there's a lot of rotting grass in here at the moment. You don't get that out, the insides are going to split and the animal's not going to be worth using for food. That's why we're taking it out. We do it now, we get it out of the way, and the skinning and the remaining preparation can be done later. Right, I'll move the camera and we'll crack on with it. Right then, one rabbit. I repeat, there is more than one way to do this. I have heard tell, I've never seen it done, of a method that involves taking the rabbit and squeezing it hard so everything blows out the back. Never seen it done. We got a bit of urine left in there. I thought I'd cleared all that. Bear with me a second. Okay, clean chopping board, clean work surface. Not normally a problem because, like I say, I normally do this outside. It's a doe rabbit, no gonads. I think, from the feel of her, this one might be pregnant, but we'll wait and see. And the sign of a good headshot rabbit is the blood in the ear. There's the entry, just there, and we've got some bleeding at the back here. Yeah, no, I think the pellet might still be in there. We've got some skull break on both sides. It's a good clean headshot. This rabbit died humanely. So, I'm right-handed. What I do is I turn it so as the back end is to my right. Take a pinch of skin and cut across. Now the first thing you notice, this doe is what we call milky. So I've got milk in the mammary glands here, which looks a bit, on a rabbit, a bit like yoghurt. When you first see it, you wonder what's going on, but don't worry about it. I'm told if you're feeding rabbits to animals, it's not always a good idea to feed them the milky ones because the actual milk is not good for dogs, etc. So we've now got this first layer of the fur-bearing skin open. You can see the milk, and now we've got what is essentially the second layer of skin underneath. So take a pinch here, lift it up, I'm doing this slowly because I want people to be able to see. Try and lift that up and put another nick in there, so as you've now got a hole. What we're trying to do is open up the belly without nicking the intestines. So by putting one little small hole in there, lifting it, put the knife in, and then make a bigger hole. You can see we're beginning to see intestine through there now. Now I'll turn around. And the reason is because I'm right-handed. I want to put my left hand in the hole I've just made and unzip her all the way down. The inside of rabbits is stinky. It's rotting grass, it's going to be stinky. Turn her back again. Sometimes just go a little bit further down this way. Now the messy bit. Because we're indoors, I'll take this and try and dump it all into here. Pick her up by her front legs. Here. As you pick it up, everything will drop down. Take your fingers, the top of the cavity. This here is the liver. This is all lower intestine. And here is the diaphragm. Don't worry about the diaphragm for the moment, apart from the fact that the esophagus is going to come down through it. So take a couple of fingers over the top of the liver and pull. There's the esophagus. Cross my finger. That needs to come out. Once that comes out, this lot will simply drop out. There's be a bit of connective tissue, just separate that as it comes, and down the bottom here is some lower intestine heading down towards colon. Pull all that, break it all off, put her to one side. This is a wild animal that we have taken from its natural habitat and we're bringing into our food chain. It's important to check before we go any further that this animal is suitable to go into the food chain, and the basic check with rabbits is the condition of the liver. So this is the liver. It's kind of plum coloured, but mostly what you're looking for are white spots on it. Most of your rabbit parasites will end up in the liver. Tapeworm, cysts, etc. But there's also a rabbit disease which we see in the UK called coccidiosis, which shows as white spotting all over the liver. This liver is firm, shiny, there's no spotting, there's no evidence of any cysts or worms or anything burrowing, living in that liver. This is a relatively healthy rabbit. Now what I tend to do is I will pull the liver away. If I've got a lot of rabbits, you can use that the same as you would use chicken livers and make rabbit liver pate. It's a bit stronger than chicken liver pate. If you're not a pate fan, it's an acquired taste. But personally, good stuff. If I've only got one or two and I can't be bothered to make up a batch of rabbit liver pate, this goes outside for the hedgehog. As do the kidneys. Now, this rabbit's pregnant, recently so. These are quite young embryos down the end. Some will say it's unfortunate. We have to kill pregnant rabbits. You can't tell from a distance. We have to sometimes kill young rabbits. There's not a lot of meat on a young rabbit, but a young rabbit rapidly becomes a big rabbit that does just as much damage to the farm as the big ones. It's not uncommon in this intestine to see a tapeworm. A lot of rabbits have them. As long as the meat is fully cooked, they are of no danger to people. So there's the kidneys, there's the liver. That will go to the hedgehog. This lot I'll move to one side. Now the next thing we have to do, bring her back, come up inside. We've got a nice empty cavity. Sometimes you'll find your kidneys will get stuck to the back here. Once the rest of it's dropped out, you need to take the kidneys out. But we now have the small matter of, this is the diaphragm. So let me move that back into shot. This is the diaphragm. So above here we've got heart and lungs. There's a hole here that the esophagus came through. Put a finger up inside, pull it down. And there you can see the salmon pink stuff is the lungs, and just up here is the heart. Sometimes help just to pick it up. Push your fingers up inside the rib cage. Make sure you've got all of it and pull it out. Sometimes get a little squirt out, a little bit of squirt of blood from the heart. Again, this was a good clean headshot, this one, so there's no damage down here. Obviously if you've got a rabbit that you've shot heart and lung, you're going to see damage or bleeding here, but that all looks fine. You can, if you wish, use the heart if you're using offal. I'm only going to the hedgehog, I won't bother today. And there we have a nice clean empty cavity. I will always deal with the remnants of the colon, etc. when I skin them, and we'll deal with that another time. But that rabbit, skin on, as is, because she was pregnant. She's a little skinnier than some, but there's meat on there. It's a good saddle. That'll be useful, and she's healthy. So more than happy to go ahead and use that one. So what I will do now is take that rabbit as she is. Sorry, running out of screen because I'm lifting her up. Take that rabbit as she is, put her in a plastic bag, put her in the fridge. I can never decide whether they skin easier when they're warm and fresh or when they're cold. But we'll deal with skinning another time. But that's your cleaned rabbit with everything nasty out of it. That can now go in the fridge for another day. And the hedgehog gets a feed of livers. Now, how do I turn the camera off when my hands are like this? That's going to be amusing. You won't see this. Camera's going to run for a while I wash my hands. I'll edit it out later.